BRICS unit, an inflationary wave. Welcome back to the channel today. We are moving past the headlines and diving into the structural mechanics of a global shift that most people are completely unprepared for. For decades, the global economy has operated on simple, unspoken rule. The US dollar is the world's energy coupon. If you wanted oil, gas, or raw materials, you needed dollars. This gave the Western consumer an incredible advantage, an artificial discount on the world's most essential resources. But that era is facing the greatest challenge yet, the BRICS bloc. It is no longer just a group of emerging markets. It is now a coalition of the world's energy and commodity giants, and they are developing the unit, a gold-backed digital trade currency designed to bypass the dollar entirely. Today, we are analyzing the initial inflationary wave. We aren't talking about a temporary spike in prices. We are talking about a permanent re-rating of your cost of living. We need to look at the three specific categories that will feel this shock first. The energy and fuel shock. The first wave hits at the pump and the power grid. This is what I call commodity floor. With the recent inclusion of Saudi Arabia and UAE and Iran into the BRICS fold, the bloc now controls a massive percentage of global oil production and reserves. For half a century, the petrodollar system ensured that these nations recycled their energy profits back into the U.S. treasuries. But if these nations begin demanding the unit backed by 40% gold and 60% local currencies for their oil and gas, the US dollar loses its exclusive status. For you, the viewer, the logic is simple but devastating. If the currency we print is no longer the only way to buy the energy the world needs, the value of that currency drops. This isn't just a supply chain glitch like we saw in 2021. This would be a structural shift. We would see a permanent rise in the cost of gas and home heating. Why? Because the dollar would be competing against a gold-backed asset for the same barrel of oil. In that scenario, the superpower discount we've enjoyed for decades vanishes overnight. The everyday tech tax. The second wave moves from the gas station to your pocket. We have to talk about everyday tech tax. Most of you are familiar with the digital Silk Road. China, India, and Brazil are the hubs for microchips assembly, rare earth mineral mining, and EV battery production. Currently, these components are priced in dollars, which keeps consumer electronics relatively affordable in the West. However, a weak dollar against a gold-backed BRICS trade bloc makes every single import more expensive. Think about your replacement cycle, your next smartphone, your next laptop, or the battery in your next electric vehicle. These aren't luxury items anymore. They are requirements for modern life. In the BRICS bloc, if the BRICS bloc move to a currency that holds its value better than a debt-based dollar, the cost to import these goods will hit the floor that keeps rising. It's not just inflation in the sense of price going up. It is a fundamental loss of purchasing power for anything that contains a microchip. We are looking at a future where the latest tech becomes a luxury again, simply because our currency no longer commands the same respect in the factories of the East. The soft commodity spike. The third wave is perhaps the most personal because it happens at the grocery store. This is the soft commodity spike. When we look at the leaders of the BRICS plus bloc, we see the world's greenhouses and granaries. Brazil is a powerhouse in soy, corn, and beef. Russia is the world's largest exporter of wheat and, crucial, a dominant force in global fertilizer market. If the currency used to trade these soft commodities shifts to gold-backed digital asset, the entire global food supply chain is repriced in real time. When you see the price of bread or meat rising, I want you to look past the corporate greed narrative often pushed in the media. The deeper reality is that the money in your pocket is worth less to the people growing the world's food. If a farmer in Brazil can trade his harvest for a gold-backed unit instead of depending on a depreciating dollar, he will choose the gold every single time. This forces the West to pay up to keep food on the shelves, leading to a permanent increase in the percentage of household income spent on basic nutrition. The strategic re-rating. So why is this happening now? We have to understand the perspective of BRICS nations. To them, the unit is a sanction shield. After seeing the West freezes hundreds of billions of foreign reserves, these nations realized that holding dollars was a liability, not an asset. They are building the system to ensure their own sovereignty and financial stability. But to the Western consumer, this shield acts as a wealth tax. We are moving away from a world of cheap debt-backed goods. For 30 years, we exported our inflation by sending dollars abroad and receiving cheap goods in return. That cycle is closing. We are transitioning to a world of honest prices backed by tangible assets like gold and energy. To conclude, a transition from a debt-based economy to a resource-based economy is never easy for the incumbent power. We are witnessing a global re-rating of value. The question you have to ask yourself isn't whether this is fair or unfair. The question is, are you ready for the transition? As the initial inflationary wave begins to move through energy, tech, and food, the importance of holding assets that cannot be printed like gold, silver, and hard commodities become undeniable. The BRICS nations are protecting themselves. It's time you did the same. Thank you for watching. If you found the breakdown valuable, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. We will be tracking the rollout of the unit very closely in the coming months. I'll see you in the next one. I'm Ro for The Real Shift. And once again, all I ask is you roll with me. While you do that, like, share, comment, and subscribe. Those is more valuable than the unit or the dollar to us right now. So please do that for us. We appreciate you, and thank you for your time.